it's often defined as a mismatch from the relationships that we have and the relationships that we'd like. Sort of thing, if you ask people what loneliness is, they might say it's things like not having anyone to talk to, feeling disconnected from the world, feeling sad, feeling left out, and so on. We often think about solitude, for example, and that's something that we actually can find as a very pleasant state. And that would be the positive side of the coin, if you like, whereas loneliness is a negative side. We may not even be social isolated, but we may be with lots of other people and still feel unhappy and left out and disconnected. It is linked to not just physical, but also to mental health problems. And it's not just linked, it can cause those problems. So it can be associated with cardiovascular disorders, anxiety, depression, and it's in a synergistic relationship, by which we mean that it has a role in causing those things, and those things can then in turn have an impact on further accentuating or amplifying loneliness. Some areas of Europe tend to be lonelier than others. For example, Eastern Europe and Southern Europe are areas where people say that they're lonely more than they do in Western and Northern Europe. One thing that we often think is that older people are more lonely. And in fact, almost everywhere, the evidence we see now is that that's actually not the case. Actually, almost invariably, it's younger respondents, often we think of that 18 to 24 age group, that say that they are more lonely. Social media often gets a bad press in terms of accentuating withdrawal from friendships, a lack of meaningless to friendships and so on. So the challenge really is, how can we build digital platforms that lead to positive uses in our social behaviours rather than something that is going to actually increase loneliness. In addition to the people that are generally lonely, we might call them chronically lonely, and have remained so, we also see that there are some people that were previously chronically lonely, but during the pandemic have not been so. For example, in the UK, there's been a huge amount of initiatives, local authorities, community groups, voluntary organisations and so on, that have been really active. And it may be that the sorts of contacts that people have had with them have actually helped, that extra help, extra connection that they've had. And of course, that poses the question as to what might happen when the lockdown is eased.